What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Barbells and
Bare-knuckle MMA, you get cut more, and I think the difference in that and MMA, you really can really throw as hard as you can in MMA with gloves on, and without gloves you can't. And besides that, the shots, like I can take a lot of shots. Like I have a really good chin, but man, in MMA, like you're really protected from the cuts. Like the gloves don't cut as much. You really have to it
yeah.
has to be a certain position, really good timing, and the guy you fall into it and he's pushing into you. But besides that, it takes a lot of guts, and you got to be ready to take some pain and give some pain because I guess it does hurt. When I'm in the moment, I don't feel it.
Today we have a very special guest. He is a professional MMA fighter with a professional record of 11 wins and 6 losses. He's fought in multiple promotions, including Cage Titans, Island Fights, Titan Fighting Championship, and Gamebred bare-knuckle MMA. Originally, he was born in Ecuador, and he currently fights out of Orlando, Florida. And he currently fights in the bantamweight division, so 135 pounds in professional MMA. And he has an upcoming bout in Jorge Masvidal's Gamebred bare-knuckle MMA. Yeah, they don't wear gloves. It's bare-knuckle. It is as real as it gets when it comes to fighting. So that bout is going to be on September 8th, and he actually has fought 4 times already this year, so that's going to be his 5th fight in 2023. He's staying busy. He's definitely staying busy, and that is so good to see. And I know with a nickname like The Party, I have a feeling this is going to be a fun episode. Good vibes. Yeah, I'm really excited. So without further ado, let's go ahead and welcome Joe The Party Penafiel.
Is it working fine right now?
Yeah, you're good right now. I'm not a
Okay,
technology
awesome.
expert either. I know I kind of look like I might be, but I'm not.
You got the glasses and shit. You look like you done some detective work or
I
something.
know. I need to get my contacts again so people don't think I'm too smart.
Nah, you're good, dude. So what's up? I saw some of your content, right? And that's what made me reach out. And I'm always like a
Yeah.
crazy person. And I'm like, man, hopefully no one ever freaks out and is like, who's this crazy person? But I wanted to reach out, like I said, have a fight coming up. And I was like, I always like to make as much noise as possible. So
Yeah, for
sweet.
sure. Yeah,
Where are
I'm
you based
excited
out?
to help make some noise for you. I'm in St. Louis.
Get out. St. Louis?
Mm-hmm.
I think I got a friend who like lives out there somewhere in Missouri.
Really?
Somewhere
Yeah,
out there. I
I'm
don't know.
I'm like 40 minutes away from the city. I used to live in the city, like actually in St. Louis. But if you say Lake St. Louis, people they have no idea what I'm talking about. So
Yeah.
I just say St. Louis. So I'm
Okay.
in
No,
Missouri, like
I
pretty close to
totally
St.
get it.
Louis.
How's Missouri? Is that a cool place to be at?
Yeah, you know what's funny? So you live in Orlando, right?
Yeah, I live in Orlando.
Okay, it's funny, and you're fighting in Jacksonville, correct? On September
Yeah,
8th.
home of Limp Bizkit, dude. Yes, I'm
That's
very
where my
excited.
sister lives. She just moved there. She just bought a house there.
That's so weird. That's
I
so
know.
weird. That's how life is creepy. That's creepy almost.
Isn't it?
That's
I didn't
crazy.
even realize that until today. I read your message because like I went back to look at to make sure I had the right date for your fight because I wanted to put it in the intro, and I was like, wait a second, Jacksonville. I'm like, that's where my sister literally just moved like less than a year ago, and she's
That's
because she's in the
just
Navy.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah. They have a
Mm-hmm.
naval base over there. Yeah, Jacksonville's dope. I mean, I love Jacksonville Beach. I don't know about Jacksonville, it's not like the most poppin' town, but
Yeah, I
it's
still
fucking
haven't
dope.
visited.
No, it's dope. Jacksonville Beach, which is usually 20 minutes away from wherever you're at in downtown or anywhere in Jacksonville, it's dope, dude. They got good
Yeah,
food. They got a couple cool beach restaurants. It's nice.
yeah. Well, how do you like living in Orlando? I've visited Orlando several times, so mainly done the touristy stuff, but
I've been, yeah, I know what you mean. I've been here like basically since I was like 12 or something like that. I grew up in real close to like Homestead. It's called Kendall in Miami, so it's very very down south even for down there. It's like we're
yeah.
like 20 minutes away from like where the road turns into that Key West part where it's just one road in, like one way in, one way out, and you drive all the way down to the Keys. So I mean, it's pretty cool. I like Orlando. I like Central Florida living. It's not a big city, but it's starting to become a smaller portion of Miami. Miami's a fucking conglomerate of crazy people
Oh
and
yeah.
different nations. It's fucking nuts. It's too much for me. Like almost like Central Florida is a little bit more country, you know what I mean? A lot of
Yeah.
people listen to country music right through different parts, you know. It's just a little different type of vibe. We also have Daytona, Cocoa Beach is 20 minutes away. I don't. It's a different vibe. There's a lot of like we have natural springs. So if you're ever back in Florida, look for the springs. They're like free to get into, right? But it's awesome. We have like there's one called Wakaiva Island where I go to. It's a natural spring. You get there, the water's ice cold year round. They have food trucks, a bar, a
Oh
bunch of
wow.
seats where you just kind of lay out, dip, yeah, you just jump in the water. It's pretty dope. So I mean, Orlando has some things, but like all that dopey shit, I hate fucking Disney. I
I
hate
know,
Universal.
me
Like I
too.
like it, yeah, but I'm like, fuck, it's so, dude. Like when you live here,
One
like
time was
I
enough
have
for
a
me.
friend,
I'm like,
he's
I'm good
crazy.
now.
It's so hot in
Yeah.
Orlando. It's like if Florida is fucking hot, people staying out there, and I've done it when he was like 4, my 4-year old, and we got in a fight, me and my girl. Like it was that bad. Like we went insane. There was shade. He's sweating. We get to the front of the line after 2 hours. He doesn't want to ride, and we're like, fuck, fuck. You know, we look like insane people, but. I don't know. You know how it is. I think the heat makes it a little bit nuttier out here, and the humidity. Like
Oh
right now, it's
yeah.
humid as fuck outside. I have 2 kids. I have a 6-year-old and an 8-year-old, and they're about to start school next week. So it's gonna be a
Oh
fucking
wow.
fun time.
Busy
You
time
got to
for you.
go. Yeah, it is, but it makes it easier, at least for me to like with work. I work as a bar back nearby at a couple different places, but with like work and constantly training and then like having a balance, obviously like a relationship with the wife and a relationship with the children, meaning like having to be there a little bit, you know, can't be a total douchebag. It becomes really hard. It's such a selfish sport. It really is. Like I don't want to get like I tried not to sound like a dick, but sometimes like I want to come home and just kind of be left alone because I'm tired and I just want to like eat and sleep or like do whatever I want to do, but it's not fucking realistic. So I got to come in here, play
Yeah.
some video games, help cook some dinner, come up with some idea, hugs and kisses, rub some feet, and then fucking ride out to practice and then ride back. You know what I mean? It's just
Yeah.
like there's a lot of things people don't tell you. I mean, when you're a human being, you have to really balance a lot of things out in life. But I think that's what makes life fun, beautiful, complicated, and everything it is. I read somewhere, I think it was like someone said something where they said that in the Bible, love, like the word love, is defined as suffering. And then like I was like, oh, and I kind of think about it, I'm like, you know what? And in everything that you love, you kind of have to suffer, especially in fighting. There's gotta be some type of suffering in order for it to feel great and be a crazy accomplishment or whatever at the
Oh
end
my
goal.
gosh,
But
yeah.
yeah. So I think it's all in the same shit. You gotta suffer, even in everyday life. You suffer. You don't want to go to work. You got to go to work. You don't want to do this. You got to do that. But at the end of the day, is it worth the goal, whatever goal that is that you have in your head? And if it is, then I think you're ready to rock.
Absolutely. Yeah, love is suffering. You know what? That is so true because it's like when you really love something and like you want to go like all in on something, like obsessed, like yeah, you do kind of have to suffer, but you kind of enjoy it at the same time a little bit. Like, because it makes it
Yeah.
so much more rewarding when you like see like the finished product or you see like the results, you see like down the road your progress, and then you're like, oh, now I remember why I do this.
Yeah, and I think that yeah, I think that applies in a lot of parts in life. I mean, even it
Yeah.
could be your craft that you're working. Maybe you're a carpenter or a mechanic. It's like gotta suffer even to get good at that shit. It's not easy to do these different jobs that people might think there aren't. Like, some people think fucking everybody's an idiot and everyone has their head up their ass and everyone has their nose up and I'm a lawyer, so I'm better than this guy, better than the server, better than that guy. And I feel you know what I mean? I feel how like when you get to a certain level of accomplishment, I think that there's some of that that needs to be deserved, a little bit of feeling like that. You can walk around with your chest up but there's also like a certain humbleness that needs to go with that, and understanding like there's a lot that goes into everybody, you know. The cable dude, crash guys, everyone's like suffering, or everyone's like, everyone has to give something up. I feel like we're all giving up. I'm giving up blood. Some people might be giving up more time with their kids. Who knows? Somebody might be estranged from their family. Somebody might be doing show business in LA, hasn't seen fucking their family in forever. I don't know. There's a lot of sacrifices we all make, and we just all need to be I guess humble, and just kind of like relax and kind of enjoy this wave of life, because I think life is shorter than we think. And at any
100%.
moment, anything can happen, from cancer to getting ran over by a bus or whatever the fuck. I had a friend that fell from a volcano because he was day drinking in Hawaii. He was an army guy
Oh
stationed over
my
there, and he was day
gosh.
drinking. He went over one of the fucking things that, it's like a barrier with a chain that says don't go over this part. Went over there, fucking around, doing his dumb frat boy shit. Fucking fell over. Almost like I forgot how many, like 30 stories, something crazy, and somehow landed on like a little ledge or something. And he survived. But like I said, you
Wow.
never know what can happen. I don't know.
Yeah.
Really depressing, but but
You're
yeah,
right though.
but
You're
yeah,
right. It's motivation though for a lot of people because I think some people do take things for granted and do take like their time for granted or take, you know, just like their health for granted or anything. And then you realize, yeah, like something happens, like maybe you lose someone or just you have a scary life-changing experience or whatever and you're like, "Oh yeah, life is short. Dang, I gotta make this count." Like at least that's my attitude. I'm like,
yeah.
I gotta make today
No,
count.
you're right. I don't know when I started feeling like that, but most of my career, I've if anyone's seen me live or seen anyone that knows me, I get a lot of respect a lot in the regional scene. Uh, which is fucking cool. You know what I mean? I definitely want the respect from all the fighters, but most of it is because they've seen me go in there against all odds. From the beginning, I've gone in there with mostly only just my wife in my corner, and some fights with guys that have training camps and nutritionists and don't have day jobs and don't have kids or whatever it may be. It's just stacks. The odds were against me, and I was able to prevail a lot. And I get a lot of respect from that, and I get a lot of what's it called, motivation from that, because I know I've done it the hard way, and I'm just battle tested. I'm ready. I made a few mistakes taking fights last minute,
Yeah, I
and
noticed
fuck
you
it.
fought 4 times this year already. I was like, "Oh my gosh."
I know you shouldn't. My one, he's my coach, but he more than anything, he's my friend, and we're not really close in age. He might be like 3 years older than me, some shit like that. His name is Julian Williams. He's a really great guy down here in Orlando, Florida. He works with all the UFC athletes from that anyone based out of Orlando. Julian works with them. We're at our gym. It's called Fusion Excel. It's located
I've heard of it.
inside the West Oaks Mall. It's in this fucking little area in Orlando, real gritty. We don't put the AC on much, and it gets popping in there. Like people don't want to go there to spar or anything. But once you get to know everyone, everyone's cool. And I've been there for like basically since I was 4-0, and now we got like 16 fights deep. So it's probably like 13 or 14 fights or some shit. I don't know. But if you go there, you're gonna get really great training. And when I go out there, I like having the odds against me. And a lot of the times, it'd be situations where my wife would tell me like, "Hey, listen, if you don't win this fight, we don't make enough money. There's not gonna be enough money for rent. We're not gonna have it. We're gonna get our car repoed, like real life problems." And I've gambled on myself big, and I've always come up top, like I've said. And yeah, I've taken some short notice fights with broken hands, a lot of different things behind the scenes. Where like I've taken a fight on a week's notice, and the commentators don't know shit about it, and they're talking shit about me missing weight or different situations, which I really don't give a fuck. But I get kind of pissed about it. But at the end of the day, I'm here to make money, provide for my family, and I really don't give a fuck, about when I'm out there to be killed or kill. Like I'm not gonna fucking be an idiot, but and like not be technical and shit. But there's sometimes it's gonna be my heart versus his heart, and my will versus his will, and who wants it more. That's really what it comes down to. It sometimes who's in there mentally and ready to fucking die. So it's fucking gnarly, but I like it. Fuck it. I
Yeah.
like it a
Well,
lot.
and how different is it going from, because most of your fights have been just like MMA with gloves, right? And now you're kind of venturing
Hmm.
into bare knuckle.
Hmm. Unfortunately,
How different
yeah.
is it?
I think the cuts. I think that's what everyone sees. Unlike bare knuckle boxing, which I think there's more eyes on, kind of like there's a lot more promotions in bare knuckle boxing. And so there's a lot of that shit out there. You see all the cuts, you see all that. But I think in bare knuckle MMA, people haven't seen as much. There's not really too many bare
Right.
knuckle MMA shows. Jorge is providing basically the best and the one of the only promotions I know that's really pumping bare knuckle MMA, which I kind of fucking dig because he pays me very well. So
Yeah.
he
That's
pays me
good.
well. Yeah. So I've gotten to a certain point in my career where like I've got promotions like Jorge's promotion and a couple few other ones that pay me real well, but he pays me the best.
Good
And
for
the big thing
you.
about bare knuckle MMA, yeah, man, I've really worked all my fights and career to get to this point. And so sometimes, like I said, I fucking stab myself in the foot or whatever by doing dumb shit like taking a fight on a week's notice, like I did not too long ago. But you know what? I'll also tell people in this game and in this life, like I don't mean to be philosophical all the time, but it's like you got to make your own decisions and you gotta die. You know what I mean? Shit that it doesn't work out sometimes.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean? It's not like when they were trying to invent electricity or whatever, like it happened the first time. It takes a lot of fucking failures. And sometimes you gotta learn the hard way too as a human being. You're like, oh
Yeah.
fuck, I'm a stupid ass. Maybe I should have listened. Sometimes I'm like, yeah, and I win, and I'm like, yeah, motherfuckers, I told you. And then sometimes I'm like, damn. I come back with a black eye. I'm like, all right. Fucking didn't go that well, guys, but I got a little bit of money and I went to fucking Idaho. But yeah, bare knuckle MMA, you get cut more, and I think the difference in that in MMA, you really can really throw as hard as you can in MMA with gloves on, and without gloves you can't. And besides that, the the shots, like I can take a lot of shots. Like I have a really good chin, but man, in MMA, like you're really protected from the cuts. Like the gloves don't cut as much. You really have to like it
Yeah.
has to be a certain position, really good timing, and the guy you fall into it and he's pushing into you. But besides that, it takes a lot of guts, and you got to be ready to take some pain and give some pain because I guess it does hurt. When I'm in the moment, I don't feel it. Unfortunately, I spent a lot of time fighting when I was younger, like in my early 20s. I was going through a lot of shit, like right after college, like right around that time, like doing dumb shit. I never was in any trouble, like my whole life. I was always like basically a good kid that just wrestled and wrestled at a high level. My dad used to take me every weekend to compete. And before that, I was a cross country runner. But yeah, I had a really fucked up little like 20 to 24, like 4 years of me fucking around, getting into fights at clubs and bars, picking fights with big guys like all the time because I loved it. I was like, who's the toughest? I'm like, oh, those big guys over there are tough. They got some cute girlfriends, and I'd be drunk, and me and my other meathead friend that wanted to kill you. We basically were fucking depressed. And something was wrong with our heads, and we wanted to die or something. So we'd fucking go up to guys and be like, or go up and hit on the girls, and then the guys would get mad, and then come outside, and we end up knocking a friend or two out. Then they all come out, and then you're knocking out four, five, six guys, blood everywhere, fucking cops. It's fucking. But like I said, that was like in my past too. So it's like,
Yeah.
but yeah, so it's like bare knuckle MMA. It's like I don't give a fuck. I'm like, you pay me, I'm there. Like whatever. Like at the end of the day, it's just more. For me, it's more to my story. I hope one day I want to write my own book. I already have a name for it. I'm gonna call it La Vida Loca, like Ricky
I
Martin's old
love it.
song. and hopefully they'll make a movie out of it because I have a lot of stories and shit. But we'll see. I'll save those for like another time.
That's awesome. Yeah, well,
Yeah.
and it's so interesting to me. Like, so has your training changed at all, like since going to bare knuckle, or is it pretty much the same? I mean, I guess maybe
No,
like doing, or do
I've
you do
always had
anything with gloves off? I wouldn't think. I mean, definitely not
I hit
sparring.
I no I hit the bags with the gloves off. I
Okay,
definitely
that's
hit
what
the
I had
bags
heard
with the
some people had done. I didn't know
Your
though if
bitch.
that was like
Yeah.
kind of risky, if like, it's easier to like hurt your hand doing that. I didn't know, but
Yeah, it
um
is like the thing with the bare knuckle thing is more is it's kind of like an old martial arts thing when you see like karate dudes and shit always like condition their hands and you always see these idiots hit people with sticks and shit. That shit's dumb, but it does. There's a purpose to it. There's a purpose to strengthening and conditioning your fist and your wrist. When I first started fighting, I came from a wrestling background and I'm fucking gnarly. Like I'm a nutty guy. I don't give a fuck. Like I haven't even bought a pair of gloves. They're all hand me downs, shin pads in like fucking years. Like I just grab shit from the back of someone's gym because I know everyone in Orlando and people leave shit, and I take it. And I was like, no one's claimed it in over a year. I'm like, yo, these are like medium fucking $100 shin pads, and these are mine. And then I'd take them. I have that. Yeah, I swear to God. I'm a disgusting person, and like I'll gloves, like they'll be mine, and then like when I'm done, I just leave them at the gym or whatever gym I'm at, and I keep riding. But like I said, I started off wrestling, so when I first started training, I was training out of the Jungle MMA when I was 24 with Seth Petrozelli, and he's famous for fighting Kimbo Slice. Um, but yeah, we used to always like I never wrapped my hands. So I would always just put my gloves, like put my bare hands into gloves, and then over time, I fucking hurt him a bunch of times. You know what I mean? Because you learn. I'm like,
yeah.
ow, ow, this hurts. You can't hit. But over the years now, it's been like I don't even know how long it's been. Like I guess fucking 13 years or whatever of MMA training now, which is fucking weird to even think about.
That's crazy.
I don't wrap my hands. I only wrap my hands when I know I'm gonna hit the heavy bags for a long time because that's when my hands really hurt
Right.
because I don't spar super hard and I don't throw like fastballs at guys the whole time at sparring. That's the only time I've hurt my hands is because I don't have the extra padding. Sometimes my knuckles will go through the gloves because a lot of times I'll just wear big gloves too. Like I like sparring with big gloves. It keeps everyone safe. But I like sparring with small ones too. But there's like a tendency for stupid shit to happen sometimes with the wrong people.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, like I've conditioned my hands to a point where they're very conditioned, um, left and right. I don't know, I guess through time, but the most I do is condition them on the bags by themselves, like as a part of one of my drills, like out of my 2 hour practices or whatever. Like I have like a 2 hour session I'll usually do with a little bit of everything in it. When I get to the gym, there's a lot of bodies, and then by inside that session, usually for a cool down, I'll have a few rounds bare knuckle, like just hitting the bag, but at a certain level of intensity. You can't just swing for the fences either. Your wrist will fucking break.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I was kind of curious, just like, because I've heard like some
yeah,
bare knuckle boxers talk about it, and I was like, yeah, I wonder if hitting the bag bare knuckle is risky or like if it does help you. Like, I was always curious about that. Yeah, well, so let's talk about, so you fought, 4 times this year, and you mentioned, maybe you shouldn't have taken all those fights, whatever, but that's, it is
yeah,
what it is. But
yeah,
do you think though that staying that active has been a good thing for you? Because I've seen like some fighters, sometimes they'll just stay busy and then they'll just kind of hit some momentum and then they'll just kind
yeah,
of go on a streak. So maybe that's what's in store for you. Who knows? But um,
yeah.
do you think that's helping you?
That's
Just staying
happened to me
busy?
already. Like I feel like twice in my career because I've never stopped. If you look at my record since the time I went pro, I've had like my least number of fights have been like 3 in a year or some weird shit. You know what I mean? I've
Yeah,
only been pro since I was like 31 or 32, so I think it's like
right.
4 or 5 years. And in 4 or 5 years, I already had like I feel like enough experience. I fought the last like 10 guys I've fought have been UFC or Bellator veterans like just so much about fucking. I wish I could get. I want to get to the next level. That's the one thing that I'm only. That's the one thing that I'm only kind of pissed about, that I never got an opportunity But at the same time, I get to fight these guys, but it's not at that level or that stage for me to say that I fought at the pinnacle of MMA, which is the UFC. But at the same time, you can't choose, and I can't, cry over spilled milk. Basically,
Right.
it's like fuck. I got in it a little bit too old. I used to have a friend. He was a co-owner of the Jungle with Seth. His name is Mike, and Mike used to tell me when I was fucking like 25, he's like, "Bitch, go pro now." He's like, because he's old school. He's like one of the pioneers. He was like, "You're good enough. We're just gonna take people down." I didn't know how to fight at all, and I would back in those days, I was fighting as an amateur. I would just take people down like 40 times and just hold them there. My jujitsu was like fucking trash, but I could hold you on your back, and I couldn't hit you. I didn't know how to ground and pound, so it was like a fucking long night of work for me. But I wish I would have went. I should have listened to him. I might have got clobbered a few times. But life happens the way it did, and I ended up having kids and I had to make decisions or whatever. But
Yeah.
like I said, September 8th, I can't wait for that opportunity to shine, I'm drinking a couple, like I'm down to like 2 beers a week. So this guy's really gonna get to, yeah, I'm like, fuck, man, I'm drinking Michelob Ultras. Today I was like, I'm gonna have an IPA and relax. But it is what it is. Like a lot of people won't even do that. They're crazy. I'll smoke a joint and have an IPA. I'm fine. But but yeah, I'm really excited. September 8th, the VyStar Memorial Arena in Jacksonville, Florida. Jorge Masvidal's Gamebred FC, bare-knuckle MMA, headlined by Fabricio Werdum
That's
versus Junior Dos
huge, man.
Santos. Yeah, those guys.
That's
Someone's getting
such a good
fucking.
fight. Oh
They're
my
gonna get fucked
gosh.
up. Yeah, someone's gonna get fucked up for sure. Bare knuckle, those big guys, someone either jujitsu, like Verdum good at jujitsu them, or they're
Yeah.
gonna have a flopper knocker. You know what I mean?
Well, because JDS,
There's
I
no
mean,
way
he's got
about it.
some of the best boxing I've ever seen. Like,
Yeah,
he's a monster. But then Verdum,
yeah,
like, you see him just submit people so easily. So it's like, oh, it's so
yeah.
interesting. I
Ever,
love it.
hey, Verdum can bang. Ever since he got to like
Yeah.
the belt the level, he can do some good Muay Thai shit. Him and that Rafael Cordero guy over there and wherever they're at, San
Oh,
Jose
is
or San
that
Diego.
King's MMA? Is that where he's
Mm-hmm.
at? Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I know that's where Fabricio Werdum does his striking with, because Cordero is
Yeah.
like a Brazilian guy out of shoot
Yep.
box and all that shit. But
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
definitely.
I
Well, that's
can't
a
wait.
good
I mean,
that's a great
have,
opportunity
yeah,
for you. That's huge.
yeah. It's a great. I feel like it's a great card. It's packed with a bunch of other like top talent,
Yeah.
former UFC guys and things like that. They're still trying to make any last minute additions to the card. We got like Anthony Njokwani in there. He's a pretty what's it called, respectable kickboxer fighting the UFC. So many other guys. You know what I mean? It's gonna be fun. Last time I got to fight with Roy Nelson, he knocked somebody out. That was dope. Like an overhand right. He's like 45 or some shit.
That's
He's fucking
awesome.
amazing. Yeah,
Yeah, that's
it's been fun.
exciting. I'm gonna have to
Yeah,
take a
and it's
look at
gonna
that
be
card.
yeah. Take a look at it. I don't know if they have all the fights yet. Like I said, they're like,
Yeah.
you know how these promotions are. At
Oh
least I know
yeah.
them. Like they'll till the last minute. You never know who he'll add. It just kind of depends who's available and what'll happen. Like I've had my fight shift a few times until they really nailed down the opponent. They really had some nice saucy opponents for me at first that I was really digging my teeth into, and then those names got given to other guys, or they didn't want to sign because of some money or whatever the fuck. So I got this
Right.
one guy, and it's gonna be fun. He's training out of Orlando. This guy at that Jungle MMA, which is funny. But he's originally from another team called Futures MMA, where Nico Price used to train out of with this really good trainer called Jeremiah. I don't know his last name, but Jeremiah's a fucking he's a respectable trainer around here in Florida. He's got a lot of guys that can fucking strike and grapple.
Nice.
So I can't wait. Yeah, I can't wait
I've
to
actually
see.
heard a lot of people like starting to talk about Gamebred and like the whole promotion
Yeah,
in general. And like when it first came up, I was like, I
it's
didn't
crazy.
actually realize it was bare knuckle MMA when I first heard about it. I just
Yeah,
assumed bare knuckle boxing, and then I was like, oh shoot, they're doing bare knuckle MMA. I'm like, this is freaking legit.
yeah,
I was so hyped. And
yeah.
then I was like, I said something, I think to like somebody at work or something. I don't remember, but somebody was like, "Oh yeah, I've watched one of those bare knuckle cards, the Gamebred cards," and I was like, "Oh, people are actually like paying attention to this. Like, they might be onto something. I don't know, because I like, you don't really hear about Bellator like that. You don't really hear about PFL like that. But like when people I know are like, "Oh yeah, I'm excited to watch it,"
Yeah,
I'm like, "Oh, that's dope."
I I've had 17 professional fights, some shit like that, or 16, and out of all 16, I'm big aware of like views and how it gets presented out there. So some promotions that early in my past I won't ever fight for again, or that type of promotion, because I know they suck ass at promoting, and it's basically like a picture of you after you win and maybe
Yeah.
a video of you punching the guy once in the fight. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, you guys suck ass. Like, you guys can't promote me before, after, between. Like, damn, like, how are you selling this fucking show? But that's just the game. But
Yep.
fuck, Jorge's fight, the last fight I did with him gave me the most views ever out of all my career. I forgot, I had like almost 400,000 views just on YouTube alone, just
Oh
on
wow, that's a
the
lot.
second time they released my fight alone. The show alone got its own like almost 400 or 5,000 views, like the entire show. That's how he first broadcasted it on YouTube. It's going to be on YouTube live again. He's giving it for free, which is really cool. And he's giving it all out, kind of like these are like tester events. So I really do hope people gravitate to it. I see all the comments online. I think Jorge's the type of guy that has an eye for talent, and meaning guys that are fucking nuts and like willing. Like, if you watch any one of my fights, like, I'm gonna bang it out. I'm gonna wrestle hard. It's just, I'm a crazy guy. I'm gonna throw a flying knee. I'm gonna double leg you, maybe spinning back fist, whatever the fuck comes up. And especially if I'm fucking if I'm really good that night, it's a bad night for anybody. And Jorge was able to see that the first time I fought for him in a gloved MMA fight in Kissimmee, Florida, like November of 2021 or 2022, I think. So he's an awesome guy. We have other guys out there like Alex the Spartan Nicholson. He's another one of my teammates or stablemates over at Fusion. He's a heavyweight that fought in the UFC, and he fought for bare-knuckle MMA a few times for Jorge's promotion. So I can't wait to see what other shit happens, what he's got in store, this guy, Jorge. Like, I want
Yeah,
to be
he's a
on the cards with,
beast.
with some. Yeah, I want him, like, I want to be on cards with like other fucking badass guys too.
Yeah.
You know, you never know who we could bring out here. Maybe like Mike Perry can get in there and fight
Oh
fucking.
my God, that would be
You know what I
so
mean?
sick.
Yeah, Mike trains out of our gym when he does MMA, but he hasn't been there in a long time. He trains with basically our sister or our brother boxing gym. It's called Technique Boxing. One of the other founders of the Fusion Excel team or whatever has his own boxing stuff, and he's mostly a boxing trainer. That's what he does. And so Mike trains with him, and a few of our other guys go out there, and we get to box with boxers, and it's fun. We get to collaborate. That's the cool thing about Central
That is
Florida
pretty
too. I
cool.
don't know. Yeah, Florida. I don't know if or Miami's like that. I don't think they are. I think it's very dog eat dog down there. But in Central Florida, everyone is welcome to come to Fusion. The it's if you can hang and if you like the environment, because the culture's kind of like pretty hardcore. And Julian's a fucking dickhead of a coach. He expects a lot out of the guys, and he expects a lot out of everybody, which is great. You know what I mean? But it's not gonna be a thing where you're gonna get pats on your back and shit. We expect you to be there, running your hardest at every team training, and be doing extra work, and be coming in to do, like, asking for more and doing more. And no one's here to hold anyone's hands either. You know what I mean? That's a cool thing I
Right.
like about my gym. Like, you
Some
go
people
there, you
need
can have a
that.
camp. Yeah, some people just need a place to fucking train at, and have that place. And some people need someone to fucking take them to the weigh-ins, do all this. I've always been the type of guy, like I said, I've driven 7 hours to Mississippi, asked the fucking promoter to drop $3,000 in my account, or $1,000 in my account for my fight purse. And they've done it, and I've gone there, fought, showed up, won, taken more money, and so yeah, like, I just feel like in MMA especially, it's a Like you got to do it all. It's a one-man band. Like you got to be ready to do it all. You have to be tactical in there and coach yourself and know what's going on. And obviously, when you get to the corner, you might be looking for direction or instruction, but you also should be perceptive, hopefully, of what's going on. Like, yeah, like you're winning or the jab is landing or whatever's happening. Or like, man, this guy, I can't reach him or whatever the fuck the situation tactically or strategy like is going on in there. You can't just rely on your coaches. That's in any sport. You know what I mean? There's times where you're gonna have to make executive decisions and go for broke or do certain or switch tactics. You know, I'm gonna go southpaw and start attacking the fucking bottom of his legs, or I'm gonna have to go wrestle. He's beating my ass a little bit. So, but it is what it
When
is.
did you
Like I
start
said, everyone has
wrestling?
their own
Did
thing.
you start that like in
Uh,
school?
Yeah, I started out at school. Like, I started wrestling, I think, ninth grade,
Oh,
basically.
okay.
Um,
That's basically all of high school.
which, yeah, well, I was by the time I was a senior, I was ranked like 22 or 25th in my graduating class. Um, I think my record when I in high school was like 130 wins with 22 losses.
Oh
I was a
wow.
state champion. Yeah, so I did pretty well for a guy that started off like really late, I guess, and a lot of things is fucking weird. I never thought about it like that, but started that really late too. But it also lended for me to have more enthusiasm than some of my counterparts because a lot of my other competitors were guys, and like throughout the years I've seen them. You know, they've dropped they did drop um with uh with wrestling. You know, maybe they hit like a plateau or they were burnt out is like what we call it in wrestling. Their parents have them in there since they were fucking five, and then they get to a point where like, do they really want to do this anymore? Or are they just doing it because their parents made them doing it? Now they're in high school. Now they're gonna go to college, and it's a scholarship. But wrestling's a lot like fighting, and that's where I have a little bit of an edge than a lot of people. Mentally and physically is
Oh
where
my
I know
God,
like
yeah. Well, and like just
I
the
gotta go
cardio
crazy.
alone, like people don't understand like the cardio of wrestlers is like on a different level.
Oh, people don't understand. People cry about shit, and it's like I don't know. I've done like when I was growing up, I was lucky enough to have a guy named Scott Gamebred come in my life. He was the wrestling coach at my high school that happened to be real close to Windermere, which is an area in Orlando where it's very affluent, where like Tiger Woods and Shaq used to own a home in this neighborhood called Owlsworth. And so this is like top notch fucking rich people out there. And it was mixed in with people like my fucking like apartment dwelling renters and shit from like
Yeah.
close to Universal. That's as far as it reached out in some other areas. But when we went there, I met this coach, and this coach changed my life, man. He's like the athletic director at another high school called Winter Springs in Winter Springs, Florida, out there. But this guy changed my life. He'd pick me up at 5 o'clock in the morning every day when he found out because I was crazy. I wouldn't want to show up to school, so I would just miss the bus. I'm like, nah, I don't want to ride the bus, and I just wouldn't go. My parents were really good parents, but they also knew that they had this wild child, and I also had pretty good grades for a kid that didn't want to show up to school all the time. And it just is what it is. I was rebellious or whatever, so my coach would pick me up every day, even in the summer, the whole school year, 5 o'clock on his way to school. He'd get me there. We'd do a study hall, just us for like 20 minutes while he's getting his shit ready in the office. Then he'd open up the gym and he'd opened up the weightlifting room and the wrestling room. And I'd either weightlift for 20 minutes and then go into the wrestling room and wrestle the dummies. And then that was the off season basically. So I'd switch in between that. Sometimes I'll have a couple other wrestlers, but I usually was the only one. And then I'd also have wrestling season. And during the wrestling season, he'd pick me up or some. I think at a certain point my dad would, but literally I think by the end I think he just picked me up and dropped me off all the time. And he would pick me up. We'd get there a little bit early. I'd do my study all, and then all the other kids would get there about 5:45 is when we started our first wrestling practice every morning at 5:45 at this high school. So we were like the fucking army.
Wow.
We'd warm up in the locker room, do our jumping jacks, go out there, do our sprints, our weightlifting, anything he wanted us to do, stairs, a lot of different things. A lot of crazy drills in the basketball gym. We do fucking these Indian runs for albums. Like I listened to the whole System of a Down album. Like we'd bring in an album and
Good
then we'd
choice.
listen to that album a whole fucking practice, the whole album. You'd be whenever you hear the whistle, you sprint, and then when you don't hear the whistle, you would jog, and that's what we would do for about like a whole like System of a Down Toxicity. We did that to like Metallica, Black. We did that to so many albums, and these are long albums. So it was like sometimes it'd be like an hour or something, but yeah, I had this guy in my life and he changed my life. I owe a lot to him. And then in the afternoon we'd have our second wrestling practice, and that would be another fucking wrestling practice on top of that. And sometimes I'd either walk home, which was like 10, 15. I don't even know. I think it was like 8 miles away. I was crazy. Or my friends would start giving me rides, and then I would jog at night too to keep my weight down. It was
Wow,
bad. Oh, yeah, I was
that's
addicted to
crazy.
that shit. Yeah, I had a heavy workload as a little kid, but I was able to get what I wanted really fast, out of wrestling. So I'm trying to do the same thing with fighting. There's just a lot more life going on instead of, in
Yeah.
fighting. It's like so
Yeah, I can
more
imagine
complicated.
balancing like having kids and a family with fighting. I mean, yeah, that's got to be tough. That's got to be tough. It's got to take a lot of
Yeah,
time management. That's for sure.
takes mental fortitude, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, that too.
Mental
Definitely.
fortitude. Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny. Yeah, I remember like when I was in school, even in like middle school, like well, I'm from Missouri, so I kind of grew up in like a smaller town. It used to be a smaller town. Now it's like crazy. Like it's grown so much, but it used to be like a small town where I went to high school. And we had a lot of wrestlers there too, like where I went to school.
Oh
And I remember
shit.
they would always be like starving themselves and like they were always just like we would like whenever they were like I guess having to like cut
Broody.
weight or
They were
whatever.
probably broody and ugly and dirty. Fucking ugly. Well, I used to hate it, dude. When I graduated high school, my team was like full of nerds. Like no chicks wanted to hang out with us. As
A
soon as
lot
I
of them were a
graduated,
little bit nerdy. I'm not gonna
dude,
lie.
as soon as I
But I was a
graduated,
nerd too, so I'm not even
uh,
judging.
oh jeez. I used to hang out with like fucking goth kids and shit. But I was like
Same.
in my own area with the kids that smoke cigarettes behind like the like hidden hallways and shit. Fucking, I was like smoking weed in the parking lot. I was a idiot. I don't know what I was doing,
I was
but
an idiot
yeah,
too
I
when I
I
was younger. I
I
got
I
out of my
miss being
system
young and dumb.
early.
Oh yeah, so you were young and crazy at a young age.
I guess. Young, I guess as young and crazy as everybody gets, but I just was like, yeah, probably like early high school, late middle school. Yeah, probably like my last year of middle school, my first year of high school, I was like a little bit had some
Oh, that's what
problems.
yeah, my wife says the same thing. She was really gnarly. She said around like her senior year or high school, she was doing a lot of dumb shit.
Yeah.
Ecstasy was really a big deal down here in Florida and like Orlando. People are like when I was in high school, we are doing a lot of fucking beans as we called it. Everyone was popping all types of fucking blue dolphins and shit. It was a fun time,
Oh,
but
that's funny.
I didn't partake in that shit as much, just or at all. Basically, I smoked a lot of weed and I drink beer. Unfortunately, I'm an idiot. I hung out with a lot of my like we do push-ups. I get drunk. It's not. I was an idiot. I was such a nerd. I would just be like getting drunk with my one of my other guy friends, just fucking doing push-ups, taking shots, thinking about fucking winning state titles like an idiot. I was like, well, maybe I could kiss a girl tonight. No, I'm just gonna go run 3 miles. I was a fucking dope. I swear.
Oh, that's funny. So, how
Yeah,
do
it
you
was crazy.
feel like in this camp, like leading up to this fight? I mean, it's what is today?
I've
The
had,
14th, 15th? So it's in
yeah.
like less than a month.
Yeah, it's about 4 weeks is the including this week, it's 4 weeks total till the fight week, Friday when we fight on September 8th. So I have like 3 weeks of hard work in front of me. Um and I'm just ready to go. I've really had like my best practice. Like I'm not even lying about that today, which was fun, I was gonna it was just a gnarly fucking day. Had a really good practice, working my jab and working positions. I just felt great, and like everyone was telling me I was on fire, and I'm really focused for this fight. The work isn't done at all in my book every day that I'm off, and thankfully I have a great job at the moment. My wife has a great job, and Jorge pays well, so I'm able to afford this month of kind of like having, it's kind of a slow season right now too. Kids just got back into school, so for the service industry around here, we're like in our kind of in our slow, we're about to start our busy, our busy shit. It's about to be
Sure.
fall,
Yeah,
and
summer I used to
yeah,
serve too, and I remember summer being kind of slow sometimes.
yeah, it's kind of
Yeah.
dopey. It depends, like obviously like Cinco de Mayo is dope, but
Yeah, I bet. Well, that's
no, but yeah,
awesome.
we're just getting ready for I've just had a great camp. Like I've done a lot of
Yeah.
things. It's just like cycling, I like to do a lot of cycling. I do a lot of cycling. I'm probably gonna cycle sometime this week or probably next week when I have a little bit more money because I go rent a road bike from a place around here. It's a trail that goes like fucking a million miles wherever you want to go. So I'll do it for 2 hours. I'll do about, I think it's 2 hours. Maybe it's an hour. Maybe I'm exaggerating. It's an hour, I believe. An
Maybe it
hour, it's like
feels like
20.
2 hours.
Yeah, it's 22 miles on the bike. I do like 22
Oh
miles
wow.
on the bike.
Yeah, that's brutal.
Yeah, so yeah, in
And
the
it's
in the
hot
Florida heat.
outside. You're
But I
crazy.
bring a water bottle and
Yeah,
shit. And
that's
it's
good.
like some parts are shaded with trees and stuff. It's actually really nice and calming. It goes through this area near my home called Downtown Winter Garden. It's basically like it has a bunch of bars and a brewery. You can literally like stop your bike, grab a drink at the brewery, which a lot of us
Oh,
do,
nice.
and then yeah, and then you just keep going down the road, um, on the
That's
trail
really
or whatever.
cool.
Eventually, you ride
I
out.
always
Yeah, it's
love like
cool.
exercising like
It's dope.
outside, like even just like outdoor gyms. Like I love outdoor gyms. Like just being outside like in nature for some reason, just like the vibe is so much better. Even though it's kind of hot and sweaty, it's just like I don't know, it's like more peaceful to me, I guess.
You know what? I feel like there's moments, like I said, like almost with the suffering things, like you can't really enjoy being in AC and comfortable and cuddling with your like loved ones and shit, that little like sappy shit, unless you
Yeah.
fucking felt like being out in the sun. And it's something nice about that shit too. Like you said, like even when it's sweaty, if you're like with the right person and you're having a good time and you have cold water nearby and shit, hopefully, and it's only gonna be there for a certain time and you get to go home eventually,
Right.
then you're set, dude. It's not that bad. You know what I mean? You got to enjoy nature, like you said. And
Yeah, for sure.
I stay out of the gym a lot because I don't stay out of the gym a lot, but I do. There's days where I'm like, nah, I'm not gonna go. Like maybe the team's doing a specific training, or it's kind of like a slower day. I feel like at the gym, I'll go myself, like I said, maybe to the trail and I'll cycle. And it's like that'll take me all day. You know what I mean? That's like I'm done for the day basically after that. I have to let my legs heal for the next day because the next day might be wrestling at the gym. Like
Right.
Thursdays is our wrestling day. Wednesdays is usually a day that I do a lot of cardio and I recover in the second half of the day. Um, or I might run. A lot of times I'll run really far on the trail. The trail I use for long distance shit. Like I'll run really far on the trail, like 8 or 10 miles, and then sometimes I'll do my short distance near the house because I have a pool, like a community pool, a few houses down, like basically. So I'll run about a 5K, and then I'll run into the neighborhood, jump in the pool, and start doing some laps, and then that'll be like, well, that's kind of like I kind of picked that up through like Nick and Nate Diaz. Um,
Yeah. Cuz they do like those
yeah,
triathlons or
yeah,
something, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
I feel, and I've always told a lot of my friends and athletes I've worked with in the past that it all depends on the person's biology. Um, and it's not to be fucking like condescending on guys with like big muscles and stuff. I'm not a guy that has like I look pretty good. I'm like I'm smooth, I would say, and I have some
Mhm.
musculature, and you can see my veins and some. Obviously I'm in shape or whatever, but sometimes I'll carry even a little bit more fat than some guys. Some guys are
Yeah.
just really ripped and they're explosive guys and they carry a different pop even. And even if they're smaller than me, every certain person, some guys are explosive athletes and they have an engine like a Corvette and they can do the 40-yard dash and explosive movements and can really like, you know what I mean? Like put like some guys can just kick me from bottom and just make me fly, as they're trying to get up from being on their back from like MMA positions. Me, I'm a long distance guy. Same thing with Nate Diaz. Same thing with, let's say, I'm trying to think of like these guys that are longer. Like Connor's a more of a short distance. I think Floyd is a long distance because of the way he fights. He's never gonna get tired. Um, Short distance guys are Tyrone Woodley. Maybe these guys have like they're really powerful athletes and they're gonna be able to like really take a lot of space away really fast and bomb on you. But they only have they have that and then they have to recharge before they can do
Right.
another attack. You get what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
if they choose to do like start like unloading, then it might be at a cost, I would say.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
and
Well,
I
and I've
think
always
everyone has to
thought
trade
like,
inside that lane.
yeah. Yeah, I've always thought like just having kind of more of like a balanced physique and like a balance of like strength, endurance, all that kind of stuff is probably the best for MMA. Like you don't need to be a freaking bodybuilder, you know?
No,
Like that really
no, and
doesn't I mean
yeah,
I guess like some guys like you said are like a little bit more powerful. They, have a little bit more intensity, but then it's like
yeah,
maybe their cardio suffers later in the
yeah.
fight or they gas out really
Yeah,
quick. So,
yep.
yeah.
You already feel it. Certain guys with certain bodies, and I feel their coaches and whatever. Oh, they always fuck with these guys ahead. Like if I had a heavyweight. There's a lot of them, those heavy motherfuckers. They can't run, they can't jog a mile. Like a mile is a lot. So I'm like, listen, let's make these guys sprint. Let's jump boxes, different powerful movements that these giant men are going to be able to execute, and they might be more beneficial because that's kind of like I feel like some people are cardiovascular, like they're using a different type of energy source like oxygen level and where maybe I'm whatever. I think I've read that somewhere. There's like two of them. I forgot like endo or some shit. But I feel like I'm more long distance. Like I could hold 60 or 80% of my pace for a long fucking time, and then I could still go 100 a lot. Like I could bring it up to 100, whereas another guy might not be able to hang with me at 80% for a long time. He needs to go back down to 50, and then he can bam me up to 100, where I might not be able to get my RPMs to 100 even. You get what I mean? Like these
Yeah.
guys have a certain pop in biology where thick legs, big ass. You get what I mean?
Right.
These are seriously, these are fucking things. I have a partner. I was telling my wife, this girl, I was like, damn, she was fucking knocking my ass off today. He
Dude,
scared
whenever
me.
I
All
went
I
to
saw
get
was
up
arm.
to I went up to get to move to plug
Yeah,
my thing in and then I unplugged my microphone
yeah.
in the process. So that was good.
All I saw was army of fatigues coming my way. I was like, who the fuck? What's going on here? Thought SWAT team was entering. I thought you were getting swatted, dude. I was like,
Yeah,
who
I got
did
the
that?
camo pants on and everything. Yep.
I see that. I was like, what are you hunting? What are you hunting over there? You hunt?
No, I just couldn't find my black sweatpants, so I wore these instead.
Stop, stop. I'm fucking with you, dude. I'm fucking with you. I like camo. I'm about to get
It's
me a
funny
camo
though,
hat
cause
tomorrow.
like I feel like I always look like I'm wearing like a nice outfit on my podcast, but I always have sweatpants on.
Yeah, well,
Pretty
you
much
I think you
always.
play it off. You got the hair. You got the hair. You got the makeup. I see you. I see you. I'm gonna have to
I'm
put some
like, they're not
fucking
gonna know.
eyeliner on or
Like,
some
they're
shit.
not
I'm
gonna
gonna have to go.
know.
No, it really, it kind of like it could be a lot. Like right now, like you know what? Fuck, you're tricking everybody.
That's funny.
But
Yeah, it's hilarious. I used to wear like hoodies and stuff, and then I was like watching my video one time. I'm like, all right, let me like try to at least try a little bit for this. Like, let me put a little bit of effort in, like make it
yeah,
look like I care.
hoodies are comfortable though. Hoodies are way
Yeah.
too comfortable. When you got the right hoodie, it's fucking comfy. I love the ones from what's the fucking place? Forever 21, I think, or some shit. They have some fucking bomb
Oh
ass
yeah.
hoodies. I get the matching set. I get the sweatpants and the hoodie. I'm taking naps everywhere.
I love
I'm
that.
a big
Yeah.
nap guy. I believe in naps.
Man, I
I'm pro
slept
nap
in
for real.
till
Like
noon yesterday and it was the best thing ever. I was like, oh, I needed that so bad.
you're a wild woman.
I
You're
know.
a
And I
wild woman. I'm
I
gonna do
normally
that
get up
eventually
early
after I
because
win
I like
this
I
fight.
have so much to do. And then this
Yeah.
weekend I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna like let myself like rest a little bit and see, just not set an alarm, like not try to get, I'm like, let me just let myself chill because I feel like because I was sick early in the week. So I was like, let me just give myself a little rest. And man, oh my God, I've never just like felt so thankful for sleep in my it was
You
so
like that
nice.
nap, huh?
Oh my
Dude, I live
gosh.
by the nap. It's like it's a double-edged sword though. People hate me because of my napping skills. So I've been the guy that like I'm the passenger guy with like the fucking mouth, head back, just
That's
knocked
funny.
out. And my friends like, yeah, bet. Yeah, they hate me. I'm taking a nap.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, yeah. Well, thank you so much for
Yeah.
coming on tonight. I know we kind of made it last minute a
Mhm.
little bit, but we made it happen.
Yeah.
So
It
I'm
was
excited.
fun.
Yeah, this is
It
awesome.
was really
I'm
fun.
happy to like help you promote this fight too and like get more eyeballs on it and like kind of start talking about it, get people interested. So that'll be fun. And
Yeah.
I'm excited too. I'm excited to watch the whole card. So
I hope you
awesome.
watch it, have a couple beers, get some friends together. Like I said, it's gonna be free on YouTube. All you gotta do is go on Gamebred FC. They're gonna live stream it from the ViStar Memorial Arena in Jacksonville, Florida. It's the same arena where the UFC has their events there. So it's a big deal, man. The local hockey team plays there, and Jacksonville is amazing. Jorge Masvidal's second bare-knuckle MMA event ever in the state of Florida. So bare-knuckle MMA brought to you by Jorge Masvidal and Dean Toole from Island Fights. Um, it's gonna be amazing. The stars will be out. Last time we had
Yeah.
Tyreek Hill and Tyler Euro and different NBA players there. It was kind of cool, and Roberto Duran. So I'm expecting the same thing. A lot of fucking NFL dudes and some other like MMA superstars. Maybe Kamaru Usman. He was there last time. Who knows?
Yeah.
I really feel like we're gonna make a big splash. I hope that main event lives up to the hype, and I believe they will. September 8th, Friday night, catch me, the party live, coming to you from Orlando, Florida. I'm fighting a guy that just moved to Orlando, Florida, so I'm taking the fake out. The garbage will be thrown out, and I will be victorious. And when I'm done, I'm gonna have a beer. And before the fight, not right before, but definitely though after weigh-ins, like the night before, I'm definitely gonna have a beer with my lunch or my dinner. So expect me to be loose. I'm not gonna step back and try to hide from the fight. I'm gonna try to attack the whole time, and I can't wait for everybody to watch. And if you can't get a ticket and be there live, just watch it on YouTube. Make sure you comment, post it, share it as soon as you see it, and talk about it. And I really appreciate you from the bottom of my heart for just giving me a platform. Like I said, hopefully we put some shine on this card, and we get
Yes,
people talking
definitely.
about it around the water cooler. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, and I'll make sure to spread the word too to like other MMA media people and all that kind of stuff and get their eyeballs on it too because I think this might be a
Yeah, for
big
sure.
thing. I mean, it's a new, it's kind of a new spin on the sport and it's not something we've seen much of like bare knuckle MMA. I mean, bare knuckle boxing is doing really well right now, so like why wouldn't bare knuckle MMA be able to do even better cuz it's like, well, guess what? Not only is
Yeah,
it boxing and striking, but we got wrestling and jiu-jitsu and all the
yeah,
other stuff too. Like so, and having big names like
yeah,
Verdum and Junior Dos
yeah,
Santos, like that's
yeah.
so huge.
Yeah. There's so many guys that want to. I think when they see the opportunity to make some money and maybe like fight at a certain level for their level. These are guys that were former champions and they've been there and done it. And when you've been there and done it, I know maybe some common people can't understand, like, you know what I mean? But to us and to fighters, once you've made it there, it's like, why would you? Like, there's nothing to prove. Like, they don't really need to necessarily be fighting Francis Ngannou or Cyril Gane or John Jones. Like, that it's this provides enough entertainment and enough motivation for these guys to want to fight each other and provide a violent bloodbath out there with martial arts in the middle of it. It's going to be, these guys are highly talented. Like you said, Dos Santos has some great boxing skills that he used all the way to get to the title, and I think he captured it twice. I don't know, maybe once. And then Werdum, obviously his amazing run. He tapped out Fedor, and he has some of the best jiu-jitsu of all time. And it's gonna be that's a dope fucking matchup. I can't.
Yeah.
It's like I'm excited to be a part of it. I'm definitely gonna take some pictures backstage, like a groupie to add to my wall and to my book La Vida Loca.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, it's gonna be amazing. I'll send you a copy as soon as I'm done with it. You're gonna be one of the first 10 people. Okay.
I can't wait. I can't wait. That's
Yep.
awesome. Well, thank you again. This has been great. It's been really, it's super, super interesting talking to you, and just, yeah, I'm so excited to watch you fight, and just kind of knowing more about your story too. That really, just gets me even more excited. Yeah. So thank you for sharing all that with me, and being vulnerable and being, just open, and I love that. So I'm excited. I'm definitely going to be watching. I'm definitely going to have as many people watching as I possibly can. So we'll definitely be rooting for you.
Let's go.
Yeah, let's go. I'm excited. I'm excited. This is awesome. All right. Well, I will let you get back to your night. I'm going to go make sure my dog's not chewing my apartment apart, but
all right.
But I appreciate you. Yeah. She's a monster. She's only one.
Oh, she's a monster? Okay. Geez.
Oh yeah.
All right. She probably protects you. Is it a big one? What do you have? Like a husky?
She's a Doberman pit mix. So she's
okay.
She's not like huge. She's probably like 60 pounds, 65 pounds. But
I have a pet Chihuahua. He's 5 pounds. I have a Chihuahua. His name is
like
Mr.
the size of my dog's head, probably.
Yeah, he like poops very little. He's amazing.
That's hilarious.
But I really enjoyed our talk. Like I said, September 8th, Jacksonville, Florida. Catch it live YouTube on Friday night, September 8th. Gamebred FC, just like Jorge, Gamebred Masvidal, brought to you live from the Sunshine State. So come watch it all. I love you, Missouri, the Show Me State. Let's get some Missouri people on the comment section. Some crazy. Some Ozark shit.
Man. I appreciate you. I'll let you get back to your night.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good one.
I appreciate you. You too.